I'm already recording. I set it up and I'm already recording. Hi. Hello. I'm already recording. Set it up and I'm already recording. You're not?
No, I was in the middle of finishing up my upload. Now I'm recording.
You're recording?
Where are you? You're very blurry. Oh, I know what's going on here.
What's going on here?
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay. Holding. Oh.
There we go. You were pixels.
I just see OM.
Pixels in
on
the
my
wind.
screen. There you are. Now you're pixels. All right. Hold on. I'm going to wait for it to catch up. It's buffering.
Buffering.
It's making you buffer.
Buffer.
By the moment. It's buffering. That's what I'm going to call it now if I'm on a bulking routine. I'm buffering right now. I'm just What are you doing? It's a buffering season. We're just
waiting for it to load
we're
in.
going to go up a couple inches of buffer,
Yeah.
That's what's going on. Do you have a story for me? Because you know I have stories.
I thought we were going to talk about the breaking news.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But I have a story.
You always have stories.
If you don't have a story, I have a story.
Go for it.
Yes. Okay. So, it's about to be Pride Month,
Uh-huh.
right? It's about to be Pride Month. You can skip ahead while I'm piecing this together. You don't get extra credit for
Okay.
it. But if you piece it together, just hear out the whole story, okay? Because you might get to the punchline before I get there.
Okay, so ruin this for you. Got it.
It's about to be Pride Month. Don't ruin it for me. I'll ruin the whole month for you. I swear
that's
to God.
homophobic.
No, it's not. It's non-binophobic.
That's even worse.
All right.
Oh, wait.
That is worse. I'm a horrible human being. I'll be a trash can man this next month if you ruin this joke. If you ruin this bit, I will be a trash can person for a whole month.
You heard it here first.
No, that
folks.
is the bit now. Let's just cue the music now.
You heard it
All
here
right.
first.
Okay, so it's about to be Pride Month. Okay? And my brother Curtis is gay, right? We know this. We're proud about it. We love him. And my parents, so I'm at Target the other day. My parents, I'm on the phone with them. My stepmom's talking about how she wanted to make sure she had a shirt for Pride Month, because that's her son, right? He's my half brother, but her full son. So, I'm shopping in Target, on the phone, taking pictures of the Target. That's what I call it. Taking pictures of the Pride shirts and talking them through it. We finally settle on one. Now, in the background, going on at the same time, my dad is talking about how he's got this new sign, and my stepmom hates it. And she's making it very clear that she hates it. My dad's got this new sign, so I'm like, all this is going on at the same time. I end my shopping trip at Target. I go home to drop this off for them, just doing them a little favor. She needed the shirt. I got her the shirt. I bring it over. I go inside. The sign my dad has procured, I don't know from where.
Oh God.
Looks like a bar sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's lit up. It's kind of like a bar sign. Now, about 5 years ago or so, my brother Colin started calling my parents the Bears.
Okay.
Right? So Mama Bear, Papa Bear. We got Mama Bear. We got Papa Bear. It's about to be Pride Month. We got this sign. It says the Bear Den. And it looks like a bar sign.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I don't even I'm not saying much about this because there's obviously some sort of friction between the two. She thinks it's tacky. He loves it. Classic, husband-wife scenario, right? She loves it. He doesn't. Or no, he loves it. She doesn't. It's about to be Pride Month. Now.
Oh boy, I know where this is going.
No extra credit.
Okay.
Don't ruin it.
I won't.
Okay.
Just saying I know.
So then I look outside. Mm-hmm. My stepmom has a flag post, and it's about to be Pride Month. So guess what flag is coming out on the flag post next month? Rainbow. It's gonna be a pride flag, right? Little rainbow pride flag, and I immediately switch gears and start egging my dad on to put the sign outside because. I don't think they know.
They don't.
I don't think they do.
They do.
But I would just love if random passersby were driving by my parents' house in Queensbury, New York,
two big hairy
and they just saw a sign that said the Bear Den with a giant pride flag next to it, because that would make my day. I would just take a picture and be like, "Good job, Mom and Pop.
You did it.
You did
You did it. You solved homophobia.
You guys did it." There's just like bikers pulling into their driveway like, "Is this the Bear Den?"
That's great.
The Bears, baby.
The Bears.
Oh, I'm cueing the music.
That's the wrong music.
Oh, no. Odie, cue the right music. Yeah. Did you just make a sound?
No, you did that in post. Don't make me look bad. That was your sound effect. You did it just then, there, too. It's all done in editing. Special effects of audio podcast.
Are you ready to clap?
I am ready to clap.
You ready to clap? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. On time, every time. Welcome to another episode of the Unpop Podcast. I am your Capitan, Kevin Minor, todo el siempre. He, him, with me as always is...
The chef, Odie Matthews, cooking up content. They, them.
You are a culinary corsair, sir.
I am a culinary corsair, but we're not doing Pirates for the third week in a row. There's a reason that franchise died out.
We're not doing Pirates on the same week that we're doing bear jokes.
No.
You sure?
I'm positive.
You don't want to take this? It's about to be Pride Month, Odie.
Yeah.
Actually, when this comes out, it is Pride
It will
Month,
be.
Odie. It's Pride Month now.
Yeah, well, it's May 30th. A little behind the scenes.
Hey, Kevin, in the future, it's Pride Month now. Put in a Pride sound effect.
Just an angry gay.
That's a Pride Alliance, Kevin. You fucked up. Anyway, so here's what we're doing first. We're going to do some news.
News.
We don't always break it out with the news.
I think it's
but
time.
there's
I think it's
news
time we stretch our
today.
journalistic instincts and talk about the breaking news of today.
Journalistic is a strong word.
Very. Very.
We may have just read a thing.
I read half an article. I'm ready. I skimmed it.
I took a note.
I read a headline.
And I have one note in like one of those tiny notebooks that you buy at Barnes and Noble, and then I'm like, yes, I'm a journalist. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just started.
You're really just playing tic-tac-toe with yourself when people are talking to look busy.
Odie, break the news.
Oh, you want me to break the news?
I want you to break the news. I could do it, but I feel like you could do it better.
All right, here we go. The news.
The news.
The mega superstar that everyone believed in, Furiosa, has flopped at the box office.
That's not the news. That's not the news.
It's not the news?
The news is Skype actually, here's the funny thing. While you were saying that, Skype just sent me a news update that said, Donald J. Trump has been found guilty on 34 felony accounts. What up, baby? Party music. Cue it. Yeah. Some of our listeners didn't think we'd get political, but we did.
Baby.
We did. We were just biding our time.
Well, he sucks
I don't
too.
know.
He sucks
Bad
too.
pun. I don't like him either.
Yeah, they both suck. One supports genocide
both-
and one has 34 counts of felony.
They both, yeah. Which one do you pick? Do you remember watching South Park when we were kids and they had the election episode where you had to choose between a giant douche and a turd sandwich?
Yeah, and it was.
How are we still there?
Yeah, well,
Why are we still in that year?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, P. Diddy had the vote or die campaign. Now he's got the get on my boat or die campaign. This is where we've not progressed very much as a society in the past
Okay,
decade.
you know what's interesting about I know how to tie this back to everything we talk about.
Yes.
Did you know that Sebastian Stan is playing a young Donald Trump in a movie based off his book or whatever? What's his book that he wrote that he's really famous for?
Oh God, I hope not. No.
What is that book?
The Art of the Deal.
Yes, it's a satire though. They're making fun of Trump.
Oh, good.
It's
I
the
love
way
that.
I understand it.
Perfect.
Otherwise,
That's what I want.
yeah. But yes,
I want everybody, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, every single person, even the conspiracy theorists who want to vote for Kennedy.
Yeah,
I want all of them
You're included.
to make fun of Donald J. Trump for all of the stupid things he's done. He's not even a good criminal. You can't even say he's a good criminal anymore.
Yeah, he failed at that too.
Because a good criminal wouldn't get convicted.
Exactly.
Right? And let's be real. Being a criminal is part of the American dream. We have many movies about it. American Gangster, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And I remember we were watching gangster movies. So I'm out in California, and we're growing cannabis at the time, right? And a lot of the guys I'm with, they want to watch these gangster movies, right? They want to watch Scarface. They want to watch American Gangster. They want to watch all these gangster movies. And as we were going through them over the course of like a couple weeks, while we're out there, tending to the fields, doing our thing, we're in the middle of nowhere in California, it feels kind of gangster. But as the movies are going, I realize this thing. I start formulating this theory, and then if I finally have enough behind it that I just espouse to the room generally one night. We're a little high, right? And I go, you're only a gangster until you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Those and that's like, I feel like that's the unspoken rule. It's the same thing with like doing anything illegal, right? Like you're only a thief until you get caught. You've not successfully thieved if you get caught. Same thing where you're not actually a good criminal if you get caught. And this is a perfect example of someone who can't even be a good criminal.
He's a bad criminal.
That's where I just kind of want to rest that point. And I can't wait for the conversations that I'm having later this year where people are like, but Biden. And I'm like, I don't like him either. You think I like voting for Democrats?
No.
I don't like that, but you don't give me a choice because there isn't a better option right now.
Yeah.
And that's an opinion. And we're ending the opinion piece right there. We can end it right there.
Yes.
Unless you have something more to say.
I mean, no, that dude sucks. End of statement.
Yeah, they both suck.
Yeah, they both suck.
Kennedy is a conspiracy theorist, and that's who we have going for the head of the country.
You know what?
Really?
Here's my final statement.
Like,
they both suck, and whichever one you think sucks more, you're right.
Here's yeah. Whichever one you're
whichever one
correct.
you think, you're right.
Here's my final comment. Really? All right, but enough about DJT. Let's talk about AJT, baby.
America's Got Talent.
ATJ.
No, America's
Anya
Got Talent.
Taylor-Joy. Huh?
America's Got Talent. AGT.
America's Got Talent. AGT, baby. Now, ATJ. We're here this week to talk about. Oh, actually, Odie, look at my giant cup. I've got a giant Furiosa
they didn't sell
cup.
Those.
It's got a gas thing on it. You see hold on. You see, look. It's like a toy.
What theater brand did you go to so I know where to go watch Bad Boys?
Regal.
I went to AMC. See, I got to go to a Regal and see if they still have those cups when I go next weekend.
Dude, it's so good. I've decided I'm bringing this to the movies with me every time because that little clip makes all the. I'm never gonna spill, and not only that,
you spill
there's
your
like
drink
a back
at the theater.
Sometimes, if I got like the regular large, sometimes that straw gets to whipping or something. Like you bite down on it and then it
going
whips,
along with the motions of the
like,
movie.
I'm crazy.
Oh, I believe
this.
that. That's facts.
So
it's true.
anything can happen when I'm in a theater.
God.
But more importantly, most of the time, anything that happens is me spilling Dr. Pepper on a white shirt. Why I wore a white shirt.
Don't wear a white shirt.
I don't know.
That's mistake number one.
I don't know why I do that.
Don't do it.
And then I get like mug root beer, and I'm like, oh.
I love mug root beer, though.
Yeah. And I also love white shirts. It's a conflict of interest, I know, but I embrace it.
But Anya Taylor-Joy.
So I've got this beautiful Furiosa mug because I went and saw Furiosa.
I went and saw
you
Furiosa.
saw it last night.
I was late to the game on this one.
And I want you to tell everybody what the plot of the movie is.
Okay. You remember...
And if you miss anything, I will interject abruptly.
Don't do that. Then you're going to throw off my flow. You want me to go through the whole entire plot? Spoilers?
No. Brush over it. We'll talk, and then we'll talk about what we thought about it, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
You remember Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron in Fury Road from 10 years ago?
No, start at the beginning. Remember Mel Gibson first.
No. We're not going back that far.
You don't want to go to Mad Max. No. You don't want to go back to when he's just a dirty guy on a highway.
Mel Gibson's in regular Australia. And then some bikers come. No. You remember Furiosa, Charlize Theron? Well, now she's a little girl.
Now it's Anya Taylor-Joy.
No, now she's a little girl, and she gets kidnapped. And eventually that little girl, at some point in the movie, way longer into the movie than I would have liked. She becomes Anya Taylor-Joy. And she does some Mad Maxing about.
I do want to say the little girl, even though it is longer than you would have liked,
yes,
great acting.
Oh yeah, fantastic,
phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal.
Everybody is phenomenal in their acting.
I really enjoyed that. So regardless of where we wanted to see Anya Taylor-Joy, getting that was actually good enough for me. All right, keep going.
No, I agree. I mean, everybody in this movie does great with their performance. Everybody's acting is phenomenal. I have
no criticisms on the acting.
No, the
all,
acting
actually.
is the one thing that I will. The acting and the sound design, and the score
kept us in the theater.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. My overarching thought about this movie, it's fine. I probably won't see it again. It was fine.
On a scale of Gastown versus Gastown run by Dementis, which is the worst option just for anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet, what do you rate it?
I rate it 2 war boy suicides out of 5.
Two war boys.
I can't.
Two war boys.
That was harder to say than I
right.
thought. 2 war boy suicides out of 5.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here's my quick review of the movie. I was fully entertained the entire time. So I've got like the 2 scales, right? Was it fun? Yes. It was fun.
It was fun.
Was it a great movie? No. Would I watch it again? No. Maybe once or twice.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe once or twice. If someone was like, "Hey, let's watch Furiosa," I'd be like, "Yeah, that was pretty good. Throw it on." You know?
It made me
background. Like, I wouldn't object.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, let's look for something better. I'd be like, oh, you haven't seen it? Yeah, throw it up.
I gotta be honest, this movie made me want to watch Fury Road more than anything.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into Fury Road / Furiosa, dirty wasteland of Australia, future spoilers right here.
Oi, it's spoiler time.
Okay. It's spoiler time. It's spoiler time, boys. All right. So right off the get-go, and I know that you noticed this too, the CGI in this movie is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, it's a weird
I just want to get
choice.
that out of the way.
Very weird.
Instead of talking about it all the way through,
Yeah.
right? Let's just say it was bad.
Not great, that's for sure.
But you brought up that, like, you're pretty sure the reason that is because the studio was making George Miller dial the acting experience back for people.
Well, my hypothesis is, and the Weekly Planet, Mr. Sunday Movies did a Caravan of Garbage about Fury Road, and they get into like some of the background of stuff, and there's a book called like Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, as well as a mini documentary about the making of Fury Road. And the one thing that I took away from both of those things, reading one, watching the other, is Fury Road is a phenomenal movie that is kind of lightning in a bottle, per se.
It really was. Go ahead.
But the shoot was so intense and so crazy that the 2 stars ended up, going at it to the point where Charlize Theron needed like a producer by her side because she didn't feel safe with Tom Hardy because he was like being Tom Hardy in 2013 or whenever this was filmed, And
apparently he was a rough and tumble kind of guy.
Yeah, and he wasn't, he later came out and said that he wasn't experienced enough to really be, like, he was in over his head. But, like, George Miller is known to, like, keep people in the dark while filming these things because he has the big picture, but he doesn't share the big picture. So people will film things out of order and be like, what's the fucking point of this? And why am I almost dying kind of thing.
Yeah, and apparently Anya Taylor-Joy also expressed that she was relatively unawares of some of the things that they were filming, which is, to me, that is a very, like, that actually just makes the acting more impressive in these movies.
Really.
Because it's like you were acting against the odds.
Against
like,
nothing, basically.
Yeah.
But I think that
like the director was opposed to you and you pulled it out.
Well, she also said it was an isolating shoot too, because a lot of her stuff she was by herself,
Yeah, she was.
But I think that
a lot of solo stuff.
I think through all of that, I think that the studio was just like, look, like, we'll let you make this movie, but you got to tone down like the practical stuff, which there's still a lot of practical in this, but you can tell that like some of the bigger stunts as opposed to Fury Road's big stunts, there's a big difference there,
Well, because and you can tell because you get these beautiful, amazing practical stunts that you're like, wow, that was awesome, and then you get like this really bad CGI stunt after it, and it's like, Like almost immediately after a lot of the time
Even
too.
the
Like
CGI,
a huge CGI explosion or something, and it's just like
even the
it wasn't that
CGI in
good.
Fury Road, like the stuff that is fully CGI, is better than this. And I said this to you when I left the theater because I called you.
Yeah.
In Fury Road, there's a very specific stylistic green screen choice, and it's the weird like kind of fastly paced zooming in on the head as like it's kind of shaking a little bit, and the character's eyes are pretty wide, and it's a very Mad Max kind of thing, and it's a very much that's usually shot on a green screen. It kind of reminds me of Sin City in some ways, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, like when they zoom in on Marv's face in Sin City, it's very similar to when they zoom in on the War Boy's face in Fury Road.
Exactly.
And also they do it to Tom Hardy like a couple times,
yeah. But see,
yeah.
The difference is in Fury Road when they use that type of shot, I feel like it's after a big moment. It's to signify like what's going on. But I feel like in Furiosa,
or right before a big moment.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like in Furiosa, they just kind of, because that's the Mad Max look, they just used it over and over and over again where they could. And like there was multiple scenes where they're in the war rig, and I'm like, this looks like an SNL kind of skit background. Like it looks like paper moving beside them.
It's like the third Imagine Dragons album where the dubstep's gotten a little stale.
It's a little much.
Sorry, Imagine Dragons. I had to throw that out there for you though. But so I see that, and the other thing that I see, like, that's this movie bombed, right? Like it let's be real.
It's not doing
opening
well.
weekend bombed. It's probably not going to make its money back. This is probably like nail in the coffin for that franchise for a while, unless someone writes a show script, right? And like Netflix or Amazon picks it up and they're like, we're going to develop out this entire IP,
HBO Max could do it.
Like,
because it's a Warner Brothers property.
HBO Max, yeah, it would be great. Well, it would be cool to explore that world more and more in depth and take time with things, because these movies are so fast, which is good. I mean, that's a good choice. It's called Fury Road, Furiosa. I'm glad that there's a lot of fast-paced portions of these movies. But, yeah, unless it really gets picked up, I don't see it going any further. So this is kind of like the final, like, Fury Road, Furiosa, Mad Max saga
Well,
style
there's supposed
film,
to be another Tom Hardy one because he's contracted for more. But I don't know if we'll ever
love
see
to
it.
see another Tom Hardy one because he
Same.
walks off at the end of Furiosa.
Okay, so here's
Fury Road.
I want your opinion on this. And I know we haven't really talked about the plot that much, but there's really I don't think there's much to this movie personally. But do you think that this?
I respectfully disagree, and I will raise my opinions.
That's fine.
All right, hit me.
Do you think this movie would have been better if this had just been a sequel to Fury Road with Tom Hardy versus Chris Hemsworth's character? Remove the Citadel and just make it they kidnapped a girl and he's trying to get the girl back, and the whole movie is just like another chase but in a different way.
No. I think if this was because okay, here's why, and this will get into the plot a little bit. So quick summary of the plot points. Right in the beginning, Furiosa, which is apparently already her name as a child. Like, it's not a nickname given to her in this wasteland. Yeah, her mom's just like, Furiosa. I'm like, that's a bold choice, lady.
Yeah, respect.
She gets kidnapped by some bikers who apparently belong to a cult, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
Headed up by Chris Hemsworth, who's doing his best Nigel Thornberry impression. Right?
Yes.
The Wild Thornberries?
100%.
He's doing Nigel Thornberry like the whole film. Actually, in the beginning, he almost has more of like what is it? Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Master type vibe going about him. But immediately I'm looking at him weird because he's got a fucking nose prosthetic
he does.
on.
It's very obvious. There's one shot where it's really obvious.
But okay. I'm going to keep going through the plot, but I think the nose prosthetic thing is because deep fakes are possible now, and there's so much going on that I think like it's actually a smart choice to change an actor's face for a character
Just
a little bit.
yeah.
And a nose prosthetic is a good way because it's right in the center. We're kind of looking there when we're looking at their mouth and their expression and stuff. So having that there, actually, for a second, I was like, is that Chris Hemsworth? Like, who is this man? And then he's outside and you see his muscles and you're like, oh, it is Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
definitely.
got it.
Okay.
But so like her mom spends like the intro to the movie is like a half an hour.
Oh my! It's like no, it's about 45 minutes. It feels like
it's so long. It's like
so
There Will
long.
Be Blood times 2.
Oh, God.
But there's actually dialogue, thank God.
Yeah.
So Yeah, but like they're like chasing the guys down, and it's like she's on a horse. All right, now she's on a bike. Okay, now she's on a bigger bike. Like, and she just keeps. She's like upgrading. It almost feels like the video game. I don't know if you played the video game from 2015, 2014, 2015. Did you play it?
A little bit.
Okay, so it's almost like that. Like she starts out with like not that much, then she's got a bike, then she's got a bigger bike, then she's like, and they just keep going, and eventually they get to this cult place. Mom gets killed, Furiosa gets captured. She's with one of the historian guys, who actually I think was a really cool part of the movie.
I enjoyed
liked that
seeing
guy
him
a lot. Yeah, he was cool, and like it felt like everything he said had meaning. And the guy who played him, once again, acting phenomenal. So then Furiosa, like we do like a little time skip, and it's her like with the Dementis gang, and like you're kind of watching how they rise up and change the landscape of this like wasteland. And then eventually she like and then. What
Morton Joe from Fury Road
is just like, I want her, and Chris Hemsworth's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Like he's just
that's
like,
after he takes gas down, because he initially goes to the Citadel, and he rolls up with like hundreds of dudes, and is just like, hey everybody, I'm gonna
give us your stuff.
I'm gonna kill you guys, and then a war boy jumps off and suicides himself.
No, hold on. You got to do the voice. You got to go. I'm Martin Joe.
I'm Martin Joe.
Give us your stuff.
Give us your stuff. I am Dementis.
Give us your stuff.
What I thought was so funny about that is, for one, Morton Joe is just like, yeah, piss off. And then they all run away because the war boys explode them. And then they see the war rig go into Gastown. So then they come up with a plan to basically take over Gastown, and then they use that as leverage to meet with a Morton Joe. What I think is funny about this movie throughout the entire thing, I don't know if you picked up on it, but when you first meet Dementis' crew, it's like kind of big, but still kind of small. And then by the time he gets to the Citadel, it's massive. It's the most massive crew ever. And then by the time after that point, like after the Citadel, his numbers start to slowly go down until it's just him at the very end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, so my first thing was like, where did they get all that gas from? Like when I first saw the crew, I'm like, they didn't even rob the gas truck yet. But then the one thing that I kept asking myself too is like, how does this guy have followers? Is it just because he has some results? Is he a metaphor for Donald Trump? Because he's like getting something done, and it's just enough for like these other people to go, yeah, you know what, we'll keep following. Well, we know that he might kill any of us or like demote us at any moment, but whatever, it's worth the risk, I guess.
Yeah, because his one lieutenant guy like ends up going off on his own. Remember?
Yeah. And like. So then they take over Gastown. Turns out he's a really bad leader, and he's like not managing things well, but he's blaming everybody else for it. He actually might be a stand-in for Donald Trump. He does get his hair does turn like a reddish orange. Anyway, so and then they go back to our Morton Joe, and they're like, "We got Gastown, and you got to make a deal with us now, ha!" I'm like, and then Morton Joe's like, "I want the girl," and then Morton Joe's son is like, "I want the girl, but more, and because I'm a bad guy, and this is apparently a Zack Snyder moment, I'm going to also we might get into some nasty stuff with the kids here."
Okay, let me ask you about that real quick. So Morton Joe takes young Furiosa and throws her in that vault where all the brides escape from in Fury Road.
All the ladies,
right? So she's there for like,
who, let's be real, are also being raped.
Oh yeah,
right?
No, 100%.
Trigger warning. We know that's what's happening.
Two points about the bride room that I was like, this is interesting. One, why? Oh wait, I guess it's radiation. Radiation is why why people are birthing three-legged humans.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. But my biggest question is, they're like, oh, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna be a bride one day, and it's gonna be great, and you're gonna give birth to to lots of babies because you're a woman, and haha. And then like 2 days later, she just disappears from the vault because Scrotus, great name.
Yep.
Scrotus takes her, and then she escapes. And obviously, like we'll get to that in a minute, but nobody throughout the entire movie was like, hey, where did that new girl go? Hey, what happened to Furiosa?
She apparently just disappears.
She just disappears.
And then some boy shows up and just starts working on cars. And they're like, yeah, this tracks.
Then
this is
down the road,
here.
she clearly has long hair and is clearly a woman, and they're still just like, yeah whatever. It couldn't be the one that's missing.
We forgot about her.
Definitely couldn't be the one that's missing.
So I do think that some of the way that they set that up, even though they didn't execute it perfectly, Scrotus is super embarrassed that he's let her go, right?
Yeah.
And so, in my mind, and even though they didn't have the scene, maybe he lied about it, and he's like, "Oh, she fell," or whatever. Or like,
That's
like
true. It could be a
I
deleted
took care
scene.
of her. Yeah, it could be. But so I think like I don't think it's that everybody was just like, "Oh, she's gone." I think if any conversation came up, Scrotus, out of the embarrassment that he had for like one stealing this bride, because Immortan Joe would kill him, right? Like Immortan Joe would be like, "You don't take my brides. I'll take your fingers or whatever."
Yeah.
So like you've got that, and then I don't think he would have like alluded to where she would have gone or given them hope for searching for her, because then she would have told them the truth. So I do think there's a cover up that maybe we don't get, and that kind of sucks that we didn't get it. But yeah, it makes it a little bit like obsequious. But then she's working on the cars. She eventually ends up on this crew with the guy who is Matt.
Praetorian
he's the
Jack.
maddest Max.
He's Mad Max discount version. Dollar Tree Mad Max.
He's somehow both Mad Max discount version, but infinitely better than any of Mel Gibson's Mad Maxes at the same time. Like super efficient and just good at decision making.
And like calm under pressure.
Like, I feel like he's like George Miller's like, and this is what I always wanted Max
He
to
even
be.
walks like Mad Max, dude. When he first shows up
really
to
does.
Anya, it's like, is this the poster from Mad Max 2?
It is.
It is.
It is the poster. It was and that's a callback. But then
Yeah.
I think as the plot develops and he's in it more, you're like, oh no, he just is Mad Max, but they couldn't call him Mad Max
Pretty much.
because it's not a Mad
But
Max
then maybe
movie.
Mad Max is in this anyways?
Well, okay, yeah. So then they essentially they go to Gastown. They're doing the whole deal with everybody. Things are going sour there, and then they try to rip off Dementis, but get chased down, and then her love, apparently now, which is discount Mad Max, gets dragged around a circle while she's like hung up by her broken arm because their car flipped over in an accident, and like he's just dragged around with dogs at his heels until he dies.
Yep, and that's it. You don't know. She never mentions him again. Just
I
she moves on.
think yeah, and once again, acting is phenomenal. I think there are parts of this movie that I think George Miller wanted to develop them out more, because what they were doing was a classic Roman style of torture death.
Oh, yeah.
Right, that they would do in the Colosseum, and Dementis has a very Roman-esque appeal to him the entire time, right? Like he's got the bike, like he's got the triple bikes. That was actually probably
that was funny.
I was like,
I was
like, I don't think that would work.
No,
but then I was like,
work?
I don't know enough about bikes to know if that would work. But like the chariot of the three motorcycles, that was actually sick. I kind of loved
this movie. Delivered on the one thing that I think Mad Max has delivered on since the second Mad Max, and that is
genre.
Yes, it very much the cars, the world, the weird obscurities, all the crazy cannibal people, the weird vulture people, the weird way that they use flying technology, all of it is phenomenal. My biggest complaint with this movie is that I found myself for really long periods of time being just like, okay, just bored. I was kind of bored for some of it. Like I said, the fact that it takes an hour.
You did tell me that.
For Anya Taylor-Joy to show up. It's a 2.5 hour movie, which I'm fine with. Fury Road is 2.5 hours roughly as well, and that movie is fantastic from start to finish. Like nearly a perfect
that movie doesn't slow down.
No, this movie slowed down so like in the worst spots.
Yeah, and it was a couple times too.
It felt like it came to a screeching halt a few times, at least two.
Yeah. I did like, and we kind of skipped over this, I did like the fight at the bullet farm. I thought that was cool.
That was good. The war rig chase, the first one where she's underneath, was good.
Yep.
I enjoyed. See,
you know what? I would endorse Anya Taylor-Joy being in another action film. I really enjoyed watching her. And not only that, let's add to her acting chops. One, she's acting against the odds, right? The director is her opponent. Two, she's doing a really great job with minimal dialogue. She's using a lot of her face, a lot of her body. Three, when she's like engaged in the action sequence, I actually feel it. So, like, I really enjoyed everything that she was doing in this movie.
Yeah.
And I honestly think this is going to be one of those films that people who are, like, Anya Taylor-Joy fans look back on as a cult classic, right? Like, they're going to be like, oh, no, she's amazing in this film. Like, this was her first time where she proved she could be an action star. You know, like she really does in this film. She shows us like I love the sniper scenes where she's like setting up to shoot people. I was like, okay, this is cool. Like
I enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
you know,
and there's so much that I enjoyed about this movie that I think I maybe kind of forgot. I was also hopped up on mug root beer at this point in my giant gas tank cup. But like, so like I was enjoying it, and maybe the movie passed by a little faster for me because I was just like, oh, this is cool and new.
Yeah.
You know,
I really felt it for the first hour how slow it was, and I think what was also kind of a bummer is I got super excited towards the end because we're doing spoilers anyways. But towards the end,
yeah, do it.
Dementis tries to trick the people of the Citadel to leave the Citadel, and then he's gonna try to take it over. That doesn't work, and he starts to get surrounded by all the forces of Immortan Joe, and then it's just a montage of Anya Taylor-Joy getting her arm that we see Furiosa with in Fury Road together, and then
I love that arm, and I also love that this. In the other one, did she pull a ripcord on it?
No, I don't think so.
I think that was an addition for this movie.
But what sucks about it though is
keep going. Sorry,
we're getting this montage of her putting her arm together, and then she just shows up to the battlefield and it's over. And I was like, okay, like one of the best parts about Fury Road for me personally was the fight sequence when they come back. The third act fight sequence. Yes. I really enjoyed that, and I was really looking forward because I was like, oh, we're about to get that. And I guess at the end of the day, like the final showdown with Dementis is fine, but I honestly kind of felt like it was, again, it kind of dragged and it kind of played out.
Well, it almost switched genres, right? It turned from action-packed wasteland movie to all of a sudden the last like 10 minutes are revenge western, you know?
And what I will say, one of the things that I agreed with, if Dementis really got turned into a tree in the spot where her and Discount Mad Max hung out in the Citadel, I'm for that. I am totally for that.
I am too. I think that's cool.
That's a great end to that character. And
I love
the thing
that.
is, like, I probably had a worse time with this movie than you did, but it's because I probably had my expectations too high as a huge fan of Mad Max. I mean, I've read the behind the scenes book. You know, I've watched all the documentaries about the original Mad Maxes. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of them. And I just feel like the characters were perfect in this movie. They set up Dementis having the same background as Furiosa. His family was taken from him, but the difference is he took her family, and the fact that he can't put that together. Great character arc, for his end. Furiosa has a great character arc. Like, one of my other complaints was I wish Immortan Joe would have been in this a little bit more. I think it would have been interesting to see him just a smidge more.
Even more than a smidge. He's only in it a smidge.
He's
like couple smidges.
A couple smidges.
We need a couple smidges.
A couple smidges more. But I just feel like all the characters were in place for a really good story. But again, my biggest complaint is it just came to a halt too much to keep the story compelling because there's too many breaks.
Yes, I do want to highlight that I think it's good that Immortan Joe's sons are so impotently non-dangerous in this film. Like,
they're great.
Like when she takes their car and drives off because they're arguing about who gets to go.
They're just like
I was like, okay, it was like Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. And I really actually I do want to highlight with her and Chris Hemsworth, aka Nigel Thornberry, aka Chris Hemsworth doing Tim Curry, with a nose prosthetic on. Their final showdown was actually amazing. Like I was the entire time there was no tension in that. Like I didn't think like he was gonna pull one over on her, right? But you can see him. What I liked about the way that they instead of building up this fake tension that we're so used to in cinema, they just showed the little glimpses of him looking for his out. Like he's constantly just floundering for like the knife, oh, maybe I could get her gun. Knife. Yeah, maybe I could do this. I can try to talk her out of it. Like he's literally pulling everything out of his wheelhouse, right? And just really trying to like survive at all, right? He's like, if I can just get out of here, I might stand a chance in the wasteland again. I've done it before. I'll try. Right? He's like, I'd rather take my chances there. And she's like, no chances.
You're a tree.
And I really I enjoyed that at the end. But then what's really funny is then we get the end of the movie and it's the final flash forward and it's just Charlize Theron loading up the truck for Fury Road.
Yeah.
So this movie was almost like an advertisement for a movie that came out a decade ago.
Well, again, I feel like there's a lot of points in this movie where I'm like, this makes me want to watch Fury Road.
Well, and especially the end.
Yeah.
Like, and if you haven't seen it, I think what this movie will do is it'll make people go, "Oh, cool, there's that too," and they'll go back and watch it and they'll go, "Oh, this was way better."
Yeah.
And then the end, they like showed a montage of Fury Road for some reason.
That was weird.
Like,
I walked out as that started.
Remember this?
You remember this better movie you can get at home? I own Fury Road. I almost watched it last night.
Remember how we took $15 from you? Yeah, you could have watched this instead.
At home on streaming. I don't know.
All right,
Yeah.
All in all, I say it's a good movie experience. If you're a fan of these movies, it's worth seeing it in the theaters.
I agree.
If you go to a Regal Cinema, get the gas cup.
Do it.
Get the gas cup, baby. They'll give you two options. There's an option. I should have taken the option with Chris Hemsworth on it, just so I could forever remember that goofy ass character with the nose piece.
Yeah. I would.
I'm Martin Joe.
I'm Martin Joe.
I'm Martin Joe. We're here. We're here to negotiate. The negotiations go like this. Like, oh my, the whole time, just so nasally and funny. He becomes a cartoon. He really does.
Yes.
Like, I could almost see this being like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah, hit me.
We talked about this, and we didn't do it yet, but I'm curious. What do you think so far as we hit June, halfway through the year? What is the most rewatchable movie that's come out this year?
Dune Part 2.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one that
you'd
rewatch the most?
Yes.
Okay. Why? Not If from John Krasinski?
No.
Not Rebel Moon Part 2?
Absolutely not. We talked about this.
Not the movie Atlas with Jennifer Lopez on Netflix?
No.
Huh. Not the Jennifer Lopez biopic pick that came out on Amazon Prime?
No, not that either, but that does look interesting, actually.
It does not.
Well, I was a big J-Lo fan.
Take that,
I had
J-Lo.
a crush on her when I was a kid. I might have had a crush on
Not
J-Lo,
Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. Yeah, Roadhouse and then Dune Part 2.
I was going to say.
Here's the only reason Roadhouse is more watchable. It's shorter.
Yeah. That's what I was like. When you said Dune, I was like, that's like the longest movie of the year.
Okay, Dune Part 2, most rewatchable big cinematic release. Roadhouse, most rewatchable film.
I would say the most rewatchable film of the year so far is... You want to take a guess at which one I think it is?
No, I'm going to do the drum roll.
The Beekeeper with Jason Statham.
Get out of here.
It is, though. It's an action flick. It's good. It's corny.
You know what? I'm queuing up. I'm queuing up the outro music.
Outro. We didn't even do jams. My jam is The Beekeeper.
Oh, that's the wrong music. Oh, I fucked up the music again.
Oh, yeah, I got this.
Oh, damn it. No. It's the Beekeeper. All right. It's the Beekeeper. We got it.
No,
okay.
I would say Roadhouse though, for sure. Like,
oh, dude, for sure. Roadhouse is amazing.
I'm not kidding.
What a classic! Like, okay, they took a cult classic and they made a new cult classic. Perfect. It's a cult classic sandwich, baby.
Classic sandwich, baby.
It's like when KFC did the what was the chicken bacon thing that they did?
Oh, it was the chicken patties were the buns.
Double down. The double down.
Yeah, the chicken patties were the buns.
Chicken. Oh God.
Yeah, and they were fried.
Okay. Actually, here a funny story, and then we'll do jams. When that came out, I woke up one day. At this point in my life, I'm in my 20s. I'm living with a local resident DJ. Always a smart living situation choice. You know, why not live with the local resident DJ? You guys will never drink too much and just be insane, right? No, that's all we did.
Yeah, of course.
We woke up. We're super hungover. My good friend Chad's there. You know Chad. And Chad wakes up, and Chad would do this thing. We would wake up, and he would be hungover, and he would get an idea in his head, and it didn't matter who said no. It didn't matter who didn't want to do it. It didn't matter what was going on that day or if there were prior commitments. We were going to go do the thing he wanted to do, and the thing he wanted to do that morning was eat a double down. I don't know why. It had recently come out. I think he had already had one.
They're
but
not
like
good.
We woke up. No, they're not. And here's how I know. Because I caved and I gave into it. I was like, you know what? This is silly and it's a story and we'll go do it.
It is a story. Look at this.
So we drive 20 minutes because that's how far KFC was from where we were at that point. So we go to KFC and we get double downs. And I take I'm not kidding you. I take maybe 4 bites and immediately I'm feeling sick to my stomach. And I was like, guys, we have to stop somewhere. I need like a salad or something. And everyone's making fun of me for eating my rabbit food. But then we yeah, well, you know me.
I know.
You know me.
That's why it's funny.
I'm not that different, right? I'm sober, but I'm not that different. So we get back down to Saratoga, where we're living at the time, and everybody that ate a full Double Down is out of commission for the rest of the day.
I bet.
Like, literally can't even move.
I totally believe it.
That's how gross they were. Yeah, so, but Roadhouse on Roadhouse is like a delicious and much more a sustainable version of a Double Down.
Do you hope we get a trilogy since they announced a sequel?
I actually, here's what I hope. Here's what I really want. I want the sequel to be the 2 bouncers that he trained.
Ooh.
Right? And then Jake Gyllenhaal just comes back in for the final fight. That's it. Right?
That would be cool.
He comes back in because the 2 bouncers, like, they're like they send out a call. They're like, we don't even know where he is, right? And then he just shows up at the end, and like it's like everybody just goes to town or something. I think that would be cool because if it was about those guys, it would be fun, and we'd be developing out that story. And I feel like that would be more rewarding than just seeing Jake Gyllenhaal be broody again.
It's gonna be
plus
that.
we know Conor McGregor's coming back as a character. Actually, second option, Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor just having a giant Roadhouse grudge match for 2 hours, I think would be good too.
I think it's going to be he goes to another Roadhouse and Conor McGregor
shows up.
tracks him there or something. Yeah.
Because he's a psychopath.
He's a psychopath. Where the fuck is
Which is
everybody?
great. It tracks. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He just shows up with a golf club again.
Perfect.
All right, what's your jam this week? What's your jam? What kind of jam is it? Is it more of a marmalade this week? Is it a mixed berry jam?
Mixed berry jam or marmalade? Is
it pineapple jam? They have pineapple jam in the Dominican.
It's more like
it's delicious.
Icky, sticky pudding type jam.
That's not jam. You said pudding. That's not jam.
I can say multiple words.
You can't say pudding and have it be jam. Like go. All right, you know what? You go on the Great British Baking Show, and you talk to what's his name?
Gordon Ramsay.
Paul Hollywood?
Oh.
No, Paul Hollywood?
I don't know.
What was his name? The guy with the piercingly blue eyes.
I've never
like
watched
a
that
very,
show.
very handsome man. You would love that show. But you go on there and you tell him about pudding jam and see what he says.
I will.
Okay.
All I've watched in the last 5 days was all 3 Bad Boy movies.
Yep.
So I guess my jam is all 3
so
Bad Boy
you're really not
movies.
jamming. You're really not jamming. Your jam is Will Smith and Martin Lawrence singing Bad Boys, the famous song from the Cop Show.
Yeah.
That was written by a Jamaican band.
I'm getting ready to cover.
Remember the good old days when a Jamaican when a reggae band could just write a song about cops.
Yeah, those were the good old days.
And we would all we'd gather around the TV on Tuesday nights and watch it.
I am covering the Bad Boys quadrology. In 2 parts on Magnum Opus, starting on, I guess by the time this comes out, it'll be this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what my jam has been watching stuff about Bad Boys, behind the scenes about Bad Boys, stuff about Bad Boys. Mm-hmm. I just love Bad Boys. What can I say? Just bad boys being bad boys doing bad boy things.
Mm-hmm. My jam this week is going to be Gilbert Gottfried reading back the stenographer's notes from Donald Trump's trial.
That'd be great. I'd listen to that. That'd be a good audiobook.
And then Mr. Trump paid me. Like just no. He definitely did. Yes, he did. All right.
I would listen to that.
I'm just a porn star. Anyway, no, my jam. So Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh, fantastic!
Absolutely phenomenal band.
Yes.
They have been for a long time. They've gone through a lot of development over the past years. But they might be doing a trilogy, or maybe it's just a double album. But they did in 2020. They did Post-Human: Survival Horror. And that was their album. It was absolutely beautiful. They brought in Amy Lee from Evanescence, Amy something. Just like they're just doing really cool things. They had Youngblood. Yeah, it's Amy Lee. Youngblood and Amy Lee were on that album. This album is called Posthuman Next Gen. And honestly, I was listening to it the other day, and I kind of had Mad Max on the brain. And I was like, wow, they should just write a Mad Max soundtrack, because like some of the songs on this fit perfectly in that realm. And it's post-apocalyptic in nature already anyway. But Posthuman Next Gen is like the next album. So 4 years later, they've got this. The opening track is called Utopia, but it's Y-O-U-Topia, right? And it's kind of like sardonic and sarcastic in nature. I thought it was really good. Limousine, they basically go full Deftones. Like, it's just a Deftones song. And then they had the audacity to write a Glassjaw style song and then bring Daryl Palumbo in to scream all Glassjaw style and then put Lil Uzi Vert in the song too. Like, and that's for the song Amen. And honestly, I've listened to the album probably 3 times since it came out, like front to back. And I really enjoy it. Yeah. I think it's good. Like, they're kind of poppy, they're kind of metal. And one thing that I've liked about them over the years is they've been unapologetic about their evolution as a band. Like, they've been like, look, if you don't like this album, that's fine, but we wrote it. We intended for this. And if it's not for you, that's okay. There's other bands that we've influenced now who you will like. You know, like, and they're fine with that. And I respect that kind of confidence in a world where comment sections seem to kind of fluctuate bands' popularities, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's a really bold choice. And I love that they keep doing that. They keep coming back with something different or new. And multiple times over the past, like, I'd say decade, I've probably listened to their stuff and gone like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this at first. But then been like, an optimist about it and listened to it a little more or again and just gone, oh, you know what? Actually, that's good, you know? And they just keep doing that. And so I really, really, really love how they keep, I hope they keep doing that. I hope we get like, I don't know, a Bring Me the Horizon polka song. Like, fuck it. Like, I don't care.
I'll listen
like,
to that.
Go into whatever genre you want next. Bring Me the Horizon.
I mean, Post
do
Malone's
bossa
doing
nova. Like,
yeah,
fucking,
exactly.
No, not country.
Yeah, do country.
Not country.
Yeah, do country.
No, stop
Get
at the
your dog
no.
back,
Beyonce
get your big
did it.
hat
No,
back, take the
Beyonce
truck
covered
and
it.
fuck the muffler because you hit your deer and you love your sister and we're up here in the tree stand with
No!
bows.
I'm cueing the real theme music. Stop with the country. We're not doing country. Not on this one.
Love your dog, you love your sister, and your mama's so nice. You get the cornbread and hash and you do it up nice. Here we go, up, down, nose to 1, 2, cowboy.